The order comes from Moscow. Shut down the gas to Ukraine.
Why is Russia choosing to flex its muscles in this way right now?
The Ukrainian side calls it a solution. The Russians say it's blackmail.
It's simply outrageous that other people's gas supplies are being held hostage.
Millions of Europeans have been without heat because of the dispute.
Pipeline politics. Next on Global Pulse. A comparison of how broadcasters worldwide are covering the Russia-Ukraine gas dispute. Depending on whom you ask, the recent dispute between Russia and the Ukraine is either about unpaid bills or geopolitical bullying. Western sources saw the dispute as a matter of Russia flexing its muscles.
Well, if you thought Russia's influence might be waning due to falling oil prices, you should think again.
Tens of thousands of people have been left in the cold after Russia shut off natural gas supplies to Ukraine.
Russia talks about prices and unpaid bills, but in reality, the Kremlin uses its gas as a political weapon. Indeed, Moscow fears that the Ukraine is totally under the European influence.
Russia is again locking horns with a former Soviet republic, this time over natural gas. Many fear this latest dispute is a throwback to Moscow's Cold War-style dealings with Europe, using its energy reserves rather than its nuclear arsenal to affect foreign policy.
This dispute is about much more than gas. This is Kiev in 2004. The Orange Revolution sweeps Ukraine's pro-Moscow government from power. Ever since, Russia has used gas as a tool to punish Ukraine's leader for his disloyalty.
Russia's RT presented a different take on European opinion. It made Ukraine the bad guy.
The EU had up to now been reluctant to take sides, calling the conflict between Russia and Ukraine a commercial dispute between the two. Now things appear to have changed.
If Ukraine wants to be closer to the European Union, it should not create any problems when it comes to the supply of gas to the European Union.
But according to Ukrainian newspapers, Russia was to blame. Gazprom's destabilization plan for Ukraine and Eastern Europe. Ukraine-Russia gas war fueled by national identity. Gas disputes should not be considered economic or financial. Ukraine's Channel 5 News continued to show their country's innocence.
The Ukraine is not to blame for Europe freezing, and is ready to prove in a court of law that it's innocent of illegally siphoning Russian gas.
The Ukrainian side did not turn off any technological faucets, and it did not take any steps whatsoever that would block the supply of Russian gas to Europe.
In Moscow's view, the dispute boiled down to one thing: unpaid bills.
The geopolitical weapon argument falls apart when looked at in detail. What country has the worst relations with Russia at present? Answer: Georgia. While diplomatic relations have been cut off, the gas has not. The Baltic states, equally not Russia's closest pals, have a stable relationship with Moscow in the energy sector. All because they agreed on a transition period in which prices would gradually reach market level, having previously been subsidized as a legacy of Soviet times. They pay their bills on schedule, unlike Ukraine, which still seeks ways of avoiding payment.
The EU learned its lesson. It's working on a plan to pipe in natural gas without Russia or the Ukraine, as Al Jazeera reports.
There's an increasing sense of urgency here in Europe. After yet another gas crisis, these officials want a new energy future that doesn't include Russia. What's being proposed is a pipeline that would use gas from Azerbaijan and possibly Iran, crossing Georgia into Turkey. It then travels through Bulgaria, Romania and Hungary, arriving at a hub in Austria, completely bypassing Russia and Ukraine.
Regardless of what the EU decides, this recent energy power play shows whoever controls the resources holds the power, as Deutsche Welle reports.
The military parades have returned to Red Square, but they are no longer demonstrations of a superpower's might. If the competition between nations today plays out in the economic arena, then commodities are the new weapons, and energy resources are among the most powerful.
For Global Pulse, this is Erin Coker.
This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only US network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world.